So you guys gotta go through this thing and you gotta go this way and you gotta go that way. And you gotta keep going. In a minute here, we'll do the definition of reality. Let's see what pops up. Just bear with me. Definition of reality.
Here's the definition of reality. The world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them.
Okay, now let me break that down for you. The world or state of things as they actually exist. As opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them. So when somebody has this high hope for you, you don't think I in return have high hope for you? When you say to one that you don't meet their expectations, can't it be like reciprocated, right? Not that you have to, but wouldn't you understand that if one person, whoever it is, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your cousin, girlfriend, wife, whatever the situation is, right? Their notional, view of the world and what they see, right? Maybe you have a girlfriend that really wants to be your wife, right? Like I've had a bunch. And they envision you, doing this, going here, joining forces with their father to take on the family business. No intention. This is how you know I'm not a money grubbing person, right? Just right out of the gate. Because I have dated like extremely wealthy women with family, like fathers with big businesses. And I was into the businesses they were into. I just wasn't into the fathers at all. I was only there for the chick, right? And they were like seeing this whole other side, and I was like, what the hell? I'm like, nah, Nah, never. No. And then it was like, oh, I got tickets to a concert. You want to go with me and my dad? I'm like, what? I'm like, no, never. And they were like heartbroken that I wasn't into that. And there's other people too, and just really awkward scenarios where I'm like straight up and blunt, like, no, no, nothing to do with that. It's like when people view, they have this. Let me look back the word, the other one. So that, oh, it's 11:11. Make a wish for something that's not too outrageous. Idealistic. So idealistic is ideally realistic is the two words merged, fused. Okay. Oh, dude on, 6 times out, and poor guy looks so hard to see anybody, eh? He looked everywhere 6 times before he walked, eh? He just didn't look straight out 275 Northwest, bud. Hash man. Come get some. But here's the facts, okay? Here's the facts. Everybody amounts to something, or in other people's eyes, nothing, right? But did you really know what they did all day? Do you really know what they did all their life, right? What is it that you did that makes your life so much more you are so much greater than them, right? All I ever hear is how I talk like I'm better than other people. I hear it from a lot of people. But I always hear it from people with a low IQ. This is I'm being serious. With a huge wicked low IQ that come at me with no facts, right? Like you base your shit off something you saw on the internet or one time, or hearsay, right? Hearsay is a bad one, right? I don't even play like you guys are some of you are good people. I know straight up most of you are not good people. It's like 10% of the world are good people. They won't hurt their pets. They won't drink alcohol when they're underage. They won't, do this and that. We all make mistakes. But which ones did you make, right? Were you torturing animals? Pretending you weren't, right? You're sick. That's the devil, right? Were you drinking underage? Were you breaking small laws, doing simple things once or twice in your life? That does not make you evil by no means, okay? It's not good, but it doesn't make you evil, right? Sitting there hurting kids all day, pure devil, okay? Those are things you should strive to never be and always stomp out of what you refer to as a society I call a sick circle of life, right? If you step outside of that, you live, you start to adventure, and you recognize people that have this, you can say van life. I call a free spirit. Before there was van life, there were free spirited people who roamed the earth and were super cool. And a lot of them are in California. I actually was able to see some of these people. They're bonkers crazy, like they're way out there. But you would think now that what they're saying after living till this point, half of those people hit it the nail right on the head. But what they were saying in 2015, 2012, 2016 was so far fetched. But look at today's world, right? Look at today's world. But so remember that when you pick somebody to have an argument with, always make sure you're picking it with a bad, evil person that's doing wrong that you want to see doing good, right? Don't pick an argument with your best friend or your husband or your wife or your daughter or your kid or your son or your nephew. Why pick arguments, People watch shows and it makes them creepy in the head. I don't see it doesn't affect me because I am so my willpower is and I see it. I see it. I can see that it's causing anxiety, tension. Any show where they raise their voice all day and you sit and listen to people argue on TV, you're a bad person. You're a very very bad person. Because if you don't think for a second that what you watch and what you dig into your head all day doesn't affect your personality, you're fucking even sicker than you don't understand. The persona is influenced. It's a fact. It's literally psychology 101 is the fact that influence governs the people you hang around with, what comes out of your mouth. Look it up, bro. Your kids are prime examples of this. Prime examples of this exact thing. So there's children raised by women and there are children raised by men. There are children raised by women in 2010, 2015, 2020, and there are children raised by women in 1980, 1950, 1960, 1970, right? Now if they were men, they're pretty fucked up from being raised by a woman. Most men who are men now realize that. Now if your mother was, not very good and she was married, it's still the same outcome. But if you had a father, who was a good person with strict rules, or just I believe dads have a different way of parenting that sees the world in its full entirety. Where women, not all women, some women see it, but a lot of women don't. They don't really do as much as men do in terms of a lot of the daily activities. It's been proven. You can look around, right? A lot of the daily activities are often carried out by a man, right? Of course, the single women would love to disagree, but look at the women that are with men, okay? That's what I'm referring to, okay? The single women, we already know a single woman with kids usually, 5 or 9 times out of 10, is a fairly strong woman, right? I'm not going to say they definitely most of the time probably don't have a better life than they would with a man, just because of the fact that the women make less. Women don't instill very good values in dudes, right? They just don't. They don't even have a man instinct, right? It's not in them, right? It's not a fault of theirs. This is psychology. Men raise boys better than women do, almost 100% of the time. As long as both parent are good people. Okay? Not that the women do a horrible job, they just don't do as good. I grew up with a few dudes who had split parent, a guy and a dad and a mom. Dad was rich, mom wasn't. Mom was poor, and many friends like this is the scenario. But well, five of my really close friends had this. But I'm gonna talk about one guy to start. And his dad was super rich. 9-bedroom house, 3 vans, 2 fast cars, 6 snow machines, everything you could imagine. And the mother had like 1 bedroom with a small side bedroom. That was the son's room. And the son stayed at that place 50% of the time. And I lived not that far away. I'd go over there, right? Well, when Buddy went to his dad's, I had other buddies. We'd play road hockey. We played mostly soccer and baseball and football and road hockey in this one area, way far away from his mom's house, other side of the city, wicked far. And I'd go there, for half of the month after school. I'd take the bus there and go to Buddy's house with these other 6 guys who lived in that area, and we'd play sports till 10:30, 11:30 at night, from the time I was 11, 12 till, I don't know, 16, 17, 18, 19. We did not, obviously didn't take the bus when I was 16, but Buddy did. He didn't start driving until he was 17. But I show up there later, buddies and stuff. So anyway, back to this. So I watched Buddy grow up in 2 sides, right? Remember all people I know that some are good, some are really bad, and some are just not that good at all at anything, right? But so he had instilled business side from his dad. He was working at his dad's businesses. He was told to mow the lawn. He got a proper allowance, and it instilled stuff. Me and him used to fix up. We used to paint fences and stuff. And in the neighborhood with rich, we lived in a rich neighborhood. We'd mow lawns, rake leaves, clean eaves troughs, paint fences, sand fences, paint fences, do siding, trim out exterior trim of garages and houses and stuff all the time.
like 3 jobs a week. We'd have like 5 of us, and we'd be out there. Just it was like big money. It was like $500. We get $100 each when we're done. Sometimes 60, $75 for doing the whole line of the fence. Take us a day or two. We were 13 years old in 1990. That's a lot of money. Like I didn't even need that much money. You know what I mean? Like my allowance was $5. I went out and made $90 in 3 days. I did shitty chores for 3 days instead of 17. But yeah. So and then we at other buddy's house. His mom and dad split up. His dad was a millionaire. His side of the family was super rich. The other side of the family was super rich. They split that kid half and half, right? The dad kept this wicked big mansion, and the mom, she moved into a condo, really nice place, but tiny, tiny little condo, but really nice, right? And he knew, he could see it instantly, like the separation gap in the money. And I'm not gonna. The dude was a pilot. I'll say one of his jobs. This is 35 years ago. He's not a. You think the guy's dead now, but this is. I'm not gonna talk about too many people in too many different ways, but I'm gonna explain to you a few things. This is serious. And the other lady, her family was wealthy. She didn't even work. She worked a till at her family's clothing store. So they had a big clothing store, and the mother only worked the till. And that till didn't pay for that condo. The parents bought that condo for the mother, right? So the parents were helping the mother the whole time, right? And she had extravagant lifestyle, to say the very least. And we went there, and there was always good food, but at the dad's house, we'd have smorgasbords for days, I didn't even like his dad. I found out stuff about his dad. He was cheating on the wife with young people. I was like, oh my God, like just horrible things. So moving on, next family. Broken families, we'll call them, where the dad wasn't in the family at all. Lots of people I grew up with, very low IQ, very, very, very low IQ, bad hygiene. One dad was very evil. His son was evil. He had bad hygiene, bad marks, and he had a bad attitude, and he was a horrible person to girls. So in school, he would bully girls, and this guy was a fucking ogre. It was a monster. I'd never seen a guy this big. I'd never seen something this big before, and he wasn't fat. This dude was a fucking red giant, for real. So, and that shit's real. They don't tell you that, by the way. So, moving on. I had to tune him. I tuned this dude, and I was scared, but he was so weak. He had spent his whole life beating up girls. And I beat up dudes my whole life. This dude had no chance. So this is the reality of the real world, people. You have a choice to be a good man and do the right thing, or you can be a shit person, right? Don't sit around with a low IQ. Learn language. Learn to be real. And learn to be in the moment, right? When I go into a store, I'm not, I know exactly what I want. I know when I want it, and I know how I want it wrapped. And I say that. And I'm very polite. I already know that's the price. If the price changes, I just take the phone and I say, this is the actual price I saw online. You have to give me this price. And then that's what happens next. That's the only thing that happens next. It's not, oh, you get stuck paying more. It's no, but I came here with knowing it's this price online. Give me that price. Match that price now, bud. I go to buy a vehicle or do business on the highest level, whatever it is in my life. And I see that other people do it with a lot of people's help. A lot of family members help people the whole way. No one, and I'm going to repeat this, no one teaches me business. No one. No one is like, oh, this is what you've got to do. This is how you do it. I've never been taught. I am self-taught. I will be a self-made millionaire very shortly. Self-made. Never before has there been a multi-millionaire in my family lineage for hundreds of years on my level. So try and keep that in mind when you watch the show. You're watching one of the greatest streams in the world, right? You are checking out and listening to, you're channeling my voice. If you can hear my voice right now, there's something different in you, right? If you made it this far in the video, there's something different in you where you want to learn. right? From Hash Info himself. The self-made, not the silver fucking spoon-fed bitch that sat on his ass for his whole life. That's the saddest thing people can think. You're welcome to that. But I turn the mirror back on you and I say, what are you doing in this exact moment? Are you sitting? Well, I've stood since 4 fucking a.m. Come on. We're not on the same level. My day is it's 11:30. My day's about to start. You know, I got to do analytics. I got to do comments, questions and rebuttals. And then I move into like hearting and liking comments after I listen and read some of them. If they're really lots of just letters and stuff, some of them I delete because I don't want to see just a bunch of garbage in my chats, in my comments. I actually only want specific types of comments because in years, you know, I won't be able to moderate the channel comments. I'm just going to change it to basic. Well, I'm going to change everything. In a couple years, I'll change everything. When we get to 50K videos, everything changes again on this channel. So it's going to continue to modernize with the times. Plus, knowing that I want to spend less and less time doing these things in the future, right? The only way to do that is to make sure that the levels of moderation are in place automatically, right? Right now I have it on manual as fuck. So I see everything coming in and I know if people are sending me messages and they're not coming in, then I know that's exterior or rather internal interference on my channel, right? So we check this all the time. Many people. We're just fact checking. We just want to ensure that there is no problems. I constantly am checking my channel saying, hey, it looks like something's going on today. They're like, oh no, it's running smooth, dude. And then an hour later, they're like, yeah, you know what? Something is up with your channel. We're checking right now and we're going to fix it, bro. It's just one thing after another, though. Mr. Yeast Infection has no problems with his channel. That dude can't stop getting like button hits on his creepy ass channels. If you guys were going to get a Mr. Yeast Infection burger, I don't think you can get one anymore. They kind of, something's going on, like hundreds of millions of dollars lawsuit right now. So, go check out some news and see. These people aren't as straight up as they claim to be. I sure wouldn't run a business like that, especially at the amount of people that have heard of it, you know? If that doesn't scream bad business. You know, he only has a couple businesses and one of them is just flunked and flopped so bad. Is it really a business though if you're just using children to sell your products through endorsing because of the fact you're you're pawning shit off to children? Again, that's highly illegal. YouTube had a thing where Jake Paul and Logan Paul and anyone who was selling plastic for $55, $75 for those fucking stupid 69-cent spinners they were selling for $142 to kids, and parents were flipping out. They're like, fuck, we can't afford this stupid shit kids want on YouTube all day. And there was a fucking huge convention, a conference about this, and they had to come on and say, yeah, you know what, we were pawning to children, you know, we were soliciting kids live. But again, check me out and see how many times I did that. There's so many cowards and scoundrels on here that play like they're here for humanity. It's fucking disgusting, you know? Fuck, if I stole $400 million from kids too, I'd plant fucking 2 million trees. No problem. Pussies. So many shitty people in the world, and I think they were backdooring it, you know, I really do. I think there was a lot of backdooring that probably had to stop due to how many people are talking about it now. But Jake the Viking's talking about Mr. Yeast Infection. There's a bunch of people talking about him now, so we're going to run stories on him. We're going to get to the bottom of what happened to all that. Why is it so quiet now on the internet, like crickets, about all this? Before it was the biggest thing on YouTube, and for like a month it's just straight crickets now. Nothing's come of it. We got a Cosby payoff or what? Sounds like we got Cosby payoffs. What do you think? I'm willing to bet everything I'm right. Some people really don't get it though, you know. You spend your life being good to other people, and then they're like, so what do you? It's like, oh my god, you know, where the fuck would you all be if I wasn't here, you know? Spend my life carrying people only to be looked at under a microscope later. How much money have I made? Like I've always said, what happens when I have millions of dollars in the bank and people are still carrying fucking 400 grand in debt? Who's the better man then? Still me. I was before when I was, you know, poorer than you and you had all this shit you had. It's gonna be me both times, now and later, because I'm gonna be the good man with all that fucking piles of money. It's the same shit. But you guys gotta pay attention to reality. How you earn your money, how you live your life, how you talk and treat people every day is the most important thing in the world. Otherwise, we'll have nothing but violence in this world. Period. And trust me, you don't want to fuck with a Viking. You want no part of this. Straight up. Full stop.